Hi, my name is Shantelle. We're doing this story time every day at 7 Live, and yesterday we started Beauty and the Beast. We ended, well, I guess I'll give you guys like a quick overview. Um, Beauty's dad has 6 kids, 3 boys and 3 girls, and the girls don't like Beauty, and the boys love her. And Beauty's dad picked a rose on the beast in the beast's garden, and because of that, the beast told him he had to come back or send one of his daughters to die. So Beauty said she would go, and we just ended on the part where everybody's sad that she's leaving except for her sisters. The 2 elder daughters rubbed their eyes with an onion and pretended to cry when Beauty left with her father. Her brothers and her father also wept, but Beauty didn't cry at all, because she did not want to make her family even more miserable. They rode the horse to the palace, and, as darkness fell, found it as brightly lit as before. The horse found shelter in the stable, and the man entered the large hall with his daughter, where they found a table magnificently laid out and set for 2. Beauty thought to herself, "The beast wants to fatten me up before he eats me." After dinner, they heard a great roaring. Beauty could hardly stop herself from fainting in terror when she saw the horrible monster, but she tried to control her fear, and when the beast asked her if she had come of her own choice, she told him with a trembling voice that she had. "You are very kind," said the beast, "and I am very grateful that you decided to come." He then turned to the man and said to him, "Say goodbye to your daughter. You will leave here tomorrow morning and never come back. Now, good night, Beauty." "Good night, Beast," she answered, and the monster disappeared. That night, while she slept, Beauty dreamed of a fairy who told her, "I like and admire your kind heart, Beauty. The good deed you have done will be rewarded." When Beauty woke up, she told her father of her dream. Although this comforted him a little, it did not stop him from weeping bitterly when he had to leave his daughter. When he had gone, Beauty sat down in the large hall and began to weep herself, thinking that the beast must surely eat her that night. Then, pulling herself together, she decided to explore. She was very surprised when she came to a door with a sign that read, "Beauty's Room." She opened it and was impressed by what she saw: a large library, a harpsichord, and several books about music. On a shelf was a book inscribed in gold letters, "Wish, Command. Here you are the queen and the mistress." "Alas," she sighed, "I only wish I could see my poor father to know what he is doing at this very moment." To her surprise, in the mirror she saw a vision of her father, arriving home, looking very sad. All too soon the vision disappeared, but Beauty was no longer scared because she believed that the beast didn't mean to eat her after all. At noon she found the table set with food for her. During the meal, she could hear beautiful music, although she never saw anyone playing. In the afternoon, Beauty walked in the palace gardens. She felt quite safe, but that evening, as she sat at the table, she heard the noise of the beast arriving and could not help shivering. "Beauty, would you mind if I watched you have your dinner?" he asked. "You are the master," answered Beauty, trembling. "Yes, but you are the only mistress here," assured the beast. "You only have to tell me if I bore you, and I will leave at once. Tell me, don't you think I am very ugly?" "I admit that is true, because I can't lie," said Beauty, "but I think that you are very kind." "But that doesn't change my dreadful ugliness," said the monster. "I know very well that I am just a beast." "One is only a beast if one thinks it," Beauty assured him kindly. "Only fools are not aware of that." "Enjoy your meal, Beauty," said the monster. "Everything in this house is yours, and I would be sad if you were unhappy." "You are very kind," said Beauty, "and I appreciate your generosity." "Oh, yes, Beauty," answered the Beast. "I have a good heart, but I am still a monster." Beauty enjoyed her meal. She was no longer afraid of the monster, but she was very shocked when he suddenly said, "Beauty, will you marry me?" She waited a moment before answering. She feared that if she refused, the monster would be angry. At last she told him with a trembling voice, "No, Beast." The poor monster wanted to sigh, but instead he made a dreadful hissing noise that echoed through the whole palace. Then he sadly said, "Good night, Beauty." He left the room, sadly looking over his shoulder before he closed the door. Beauty felt sorry for the poor beast. "Alas," she said, "he is so kind, but I could never love a beast." Beauty spent three very happy months in the palace. Every evening the Beast would visit her and talk to her while she had dinner. Every day, Beauty discovered new virtues in the monster, and she became quite fond of him. Just one thing troubled her. At night, before the monster went to bed, he always asked her if she would become his wife, and every time he seemed to be overcome with pain when she refused. One day, she said to him, "You make me sad, Beast. I will always be your friend, but I could never marry you." "If that is how it has to be," said the Beast, "I deserve what I get. I know very well I am horrible to look at. Nevertheless, promise me that you will never leave me." These words embarrassed Beauty. She was missing her father a great deal, and although she could see a vision of him in the mirror any time she liked, she dearly wished to be able to speak to him and assure him that she was alive and well. She could also see how much he was missing her. "I could promise never to leave you, but I would so much like to see my father once more. I would die of a broken heart if you were to refuse me this wish," said Beauty. "I would rather die myself than to make you unhappy," replied the monster. "But if I send you to your father, you will stay there, and your poor beast will die of heartbreak." "No," answered Beauty. "I promise that I will return within a week. Your mirror has shown me that my sisters have married, and that my brothers are now soldiers. My father is all alone. Allow me to visit him for a week." "You will be there tomorrow morning," said the Beast, giving her a jeweled ring. "Remember your promise. When you want to return, you only have to put this magic ring on a table and go to sleep. Farewell, Beauty." Having said this, the Beast sighed as usual, and Beauty went sadly to sleep, feeling guilty that she had hurt his feelings. When she woke up the next morning, she was in her father's house. He was beside himself with joy when he saw his sweet daughter again, and they embraced each other for a very long time. When Beauty's sisters heard the news, they rushed to the house with their husbands. They were furious when they saw her dressed like a princess and more beautiful than ever. She was very sweet to them, but nothing could stop them from being jealous. The two girls went to the garden to grumble together. "Listen, my sister," said the eldest. "I have an idea. Let's try to make her stay here longer than a week. Her stupid beast will be angry because she didn't keep her promise, and maybe he will tear her to shreds." "You are right, my sister," answered the other. "Let us be very sweet to her." When a week had passed, the two sisters begged so prettily for Beauty to stay that she promised to remain one more week. Yet Beauty blamed herself for the grief she must be causing the poor beast, and, indeed, she even found that she missed his company. The 10th night she spent at her father's house, she dreamt that she was in the palace garden. She saw the beast stretched out on the grass. He was dying of a broken heart because she had not returned to him. Beauty woke up in shock and began to weep. "How could I break a beast's heart who is so sweet to me?" she cried. "Is it his fault that he is so ugly and has no hope? He is kind, and that is more important than anything else. I could never forgive myself if he died for my ingratitude." So Beauty got up, put her magic ring on the table, and went back to sleep. When she woke up the next morning, she was delighted to find that she was back in the Beast's palace. She dressed herself quickly, then spent all that day waiting for the Beast to arrive. She waited and waited until the clock struck 9, but the Beast did not appear. Beauty then feared the worst. She ran through the palace, searching desperately for the Beast. After she'd looked everywhere, she suddenly remembered her dream and ran out to the garden, where she had seen him lying. There, she found the Beast unconscious on the ground, and she thought he was dead. She threw herself on him without a thought for his ugliness, and felt his heart still beating, although only just. She took some water from the pond and threw it on his face. At last the Beast opened his eyes and said, "You did not keep your promise, Beauty, but now I will die happily because I have had the chance to see you once more." Once more he closed his eyes, and Beauty stroked his forehead. "No, my dear Beast, you will not die," she said. "You will live to become my husband. From this moment I will give you my hand in marriage, and I promise I will never leave you again. The pain I felt when I could not find you made me realize that I truly love you, and I could not live without you." Beauty looked at her dear Beast, but, what a surprise! The Beast had disappeared, and at her feet she found the most handsome prince she had ever seen. He got to his feet and stretched, then thanked her for breaking his spell. Although she had no eyes for anyone except the prince, Beauty could not stop herself from asking him where the Beast had gone. "You see him before you. You see him here before you," the prince told her. "An evil fairy changed me into the Beast until the day that a beautiful girl agreed to marry me of her own free will. While I was under the spell, I was forbidden to tell any girl the true story. It was hopeless, for who would want to marry a fearsome beast? You were the only one in the world with the heart to give me the chance to show my kind and gentle character, and, by offering you my crown, I now also show you my gratitude and sincerity. You already know that I love you." Beauty, who was amazed, took the handsome prince by the hand. They went into the palace together, and Beauty was happier than ever when she saw her father and the rest of her family in the large hall. The fairy who had appeared in her dream had brought them to the palace, and she, too, was there, smiling. "Beauty, at last you have received your reward for making the right decision," said the good fairy. "You have put virtue above beauty, and you deserve this prince who has such qualities himself. You will become a great queen, and I have no fear that you will rule wisely and well." Then the fairy turned to Beauty's two sisters. "I know your evil hearts," she said. "You will become 2 stone statues that will stand at your sister's palace gate. All you will do each day is to witness her happiness, and there you will stay until the moment you admit your mistakes. However, I am afraid that you may well remain statues for a very long time." That very day the prince, who had been the Beast, married Beauty. She lived with him in the palace in perfect happiness forever after, because, after all, their love was a tale of honest virtue. Okay, that's it for today. Come back tomorrow at 7 for another story. Good night. Bye.